Breaking news has taken over Giants Nation, and it's one of those days where emotions are running high because roster cutdown day always delivers surprises, and this year is no different. The New York Giants have already started trimming down the roster, and some of the names being let go are honestly shocking. Giants fans, you know this part of the football calendar is brutal. You spend the entire summer watching guys battle, fight for their dreams, and then within a few hours, entire careers can change. And today, we've got a lot to unpack. Let's start with the one that stunned nearly everyone, quarterback Tommy DeVito. Yes, the same Tommy DeVito who stepped into the spotlight and became an unexpected folk hero in New York not that long ago. The Giants have made the decision to move on, releasing DeVito instead of trying to stash him in some way. For weeks, there was chatter that maybe another team might swoop in with a trade offer. Rumors floated about New England possibly making a move after DeVito lit them up in preseason, whispers of other QB-needy teams thinking about it, but nothing materialized. And when no real offers came through, the Giants didn't hesitate. They cut ties. Now, what happens next for DeVito is up in the air. He's heading to waivers, which means any team can claim him outright and take on his current contract. If he clears, then he'll face a choice: return to the Giants on the practice squad or head elsewhere for a fresh start. And this is where things get interesting. Because while DeVito is beloved by fans, the Giants' quarterback room is already looking forward, built around Jackson Dart, the hopeful franchise QB of the future, and Jameis Winston, a steady veteran presence under contract. That's QB1 and QB2, meaning the path for DeVito was always narrow. But don't overlook the human side of this. DeVito's story resonated with New Yorkers. A local kid, grew up a fan, fought his way onto the field, and gave the Giants a spark in a dark stretch of the season. His Monday Night Football win against the Packers won't be forgotten anytime soon. If this truly is the end of DeVito's run in blue, fans will remember him fondly. But the NFL is a business, and sentiment doesn't keep you on a 53-man roster. And right when Giants fans were still digesting that move, another shocker hit. Running back Dante "Turbo" Miller has been released. This one hurts in a different way because Miller didn't just survive training camp, he thrived in it. He was the offensive MVP in the preseason opener, flashing speed and toughness that turned heads. When Brian Daboll himself singled him out in postgame comments, it felt like Miller had carved a role. He wasn't just a burner with track speed, he ran hard, kept the ball secure, and showed grit between the tackles. And yet, he's gone. Why? Depth. That's the harsh truth. The Giants already have Tyrone Tracy, Devin Singletary, and Cam Scatabo coming back from injury. It's a crowded room, and Miller's miscue on special teams, a punt bouncing off his shoulders, probably sealed his fate. It's a cruel reminder that on the margins of a roster, the smallest mistakes can outweigh weeks of great play. Then came Trey Hawkins. And this one really had people scratching their heads. Hawkins was once hyped as the next man up in the secondary, a camp standout in 2023 who looked like he could be a cornerstone. Big, long, athletic, on paper, he checked boxes. But the reality never matched the potential. Flags for holding, defensive pass interference, struggles when the lights came on in real games. He just couldn't put it together. And now, in year 3, injuries slowed him down and the Giants made the call to move on. Maybe he'll sneak onto the practice squad, but the shine has worn off. So, in just the first wave, 3 names, DeVito, Miller, and Hawkins, are gone. And those weren't fringe guys. They were fan favorites and players with real chances. And yet, that's life in the NFL. As the morning rolled into the afternoon, more cuts started filtering in. And while some were expected, others only added to the sense that the Giants are serious about reshaping this roster with a very deliberate vision. Offensive lineman Jake Kubas, for example, didn't survive. An undrafted free agent who tried to carve out a role, he struggled against the Bills in preseason and couldn't find his footing even when the staff shifted him to center in practice. Bad snaps, missed blocks, it added up. The Giants liked him last year, but development doesn't wait forever in the NFL. Kubas is gone. Then, edge rusher Tolman Fox was let go. This one surprised a lot of fans. Fox had moments last year and looked like the kind of depth piece you want in the rotation. But again, numbers game. The Giants are set with Kayvon Thibodeau, Carter Burns, and Chancey Goldston. Trace Ford is making a strong push too. Keeping 5 edge rushers is a luxury, and the Giants decided they couldn't afford it. Still, Fox is the kind of player who may not be out of work for long. Running back Jonathan Ward? Released. Safety Maury Page out of Michigan? Released. Both were long shots, but names that deserve recognition because they battled all summer for their chance. So when you step back, the tally is already 7 players gone. DeVito, Miller, Hawkins, Kubis, Fox, Ward, and Page. And here's what makes this different from years past. These cuts hurt because these players actually looked like they belonged. That's not something you could say in previous seasons when the Giants' depth was paper thin. This year, for once, the roster is strong enough that solid talent is being let go. As crazy as it sounds, that's progress. But it's also a message. Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen aren't messing around. They're not keeping guys just because they're popular or because they flashed once in a while. They're building a roster with clear roles, depth at key positions, and a focus on players who fit long-term. And if that means moving on from familiar names, so be it. Before we dive even deeper into what all these moves mean, I've got one quick ask for every Giants fan watching. If you live and breathe Big Blue, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. We bring you every roster move, every piece of breaking news, and every deep dive on the New York Giants as soon as it happens. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and join the community that bleeds Giants blue. Let's keep growing together as the season kicks into high gear. Now, let's get back to it. The decision-making this front office is showing is fascinating. On the surface, cutting a guy like Miller seems crazy. But when you think about it, the Giants are looking at durability, versatility, and special teams impact. Tyrone Tracy can do everything. They drafted him to be that do-it-all piece. Singletary brings experience, Scatabo is returning healthy, and they simply didn't have room for a speed-only guy. Same thing with Hawkins. Athletic traits aren't enough anymore. They want results. And DeVito? His release sends the clearest message of all. The Giants are all in on Jackson Dart. This is his team. He's not just the quarterback of the future, he's the quarterback of the present. Keeping DeVito around as a third stringer might have kept fans happy, but it would have muddled the QB room. Instead, they cleared the deck. No distractions. No debates. Dart, Winston, and that's it. What's striking is how bold this front office is. Other teams might play it safe, stash players, and hope for the best. The Giants are ripping off the Band-Aid. If you can't help them win right now, you're gone. And in a weird way, that's refreshing. So where does this leave the Giants? Well, the roster is still in flux, but the early moves tell a story. This team is serious about sharpening its identity. On offense, the commitment is clear. They're going to ride with Jackson Dart and surround him with versatile weapons. That's why Tracy and Singletary are safe. That's why they value guys who can contribute on special teams. And it's why a player like Dante Miller, as electric as he was, didn't make the cut. They want reliability, not just flash. On defense, the secondary is going to keep evolving. Cutting Hawkins is a gamble, no question. Quarterback depth is always fragile, but they clearly believe in other options. And the edge rush group? Top heavy, yes, but if Ford sticks, it could be quietly solid. But beyond X's and O's, the emotional impact of these cuts can't be ignored. Giants fans love Tommy DeVito. They rallied behind him. He brought energy in a lost season. Seeing him cut feels like the end of an era, however small. And Miller? Fans love a preseason star, and he gave them hope. Those stories matter, even if they don't last. Still, fans should take a step back and see the bigger picture. The fact that the Giants are cutting guys who looked good means they've finally built depth. This isn't 2019, where the roster was paper thin and anyone with a pulse could sneak onto the 53. This is different. This is competition. This is progress. And the truth is, more cuts are coming. 18 or 19 more players will be gone before the dust settles. Some names will sting, others won't. But the goal is clear. The Giants want a roster that can actually compete, that can go into the season with weapons, depth, and a quarterback they believe in. The most important takeaway? Giants fans should be encouraged. Yes, it hurts to see familiar names go, but it means this team is finally headed in the right direction. A strong roster forces tough choices. That's the price of progress. Final thoughts roster cutdown day is never easy. Dreams are made and broken. Stories end and begin. For the New York Giants, releasing players like Tommy DeVito, Dante Miller, and Trey Hawkins shows just how much this organization has changed. They're no longer clinging to maybe players. They're moving forward with a clear plan, investing in guys they truly believe can contribute to a winning culture. For fans, it's bittersweet. Saying goodbye to players who brought excitement is tough. But the bigger picture is bright. The Giants are finally acting like a team that expects to compete, not just survive. And that should give everyone reason to believe that better days are ahead for Big Blue. So buckle up, Giants fans. The cuts are painful, but the foundation is stronger than it's been in years. The season ahead promises to be one of the most fascinating we've seen in a long time.